Okay, nitaniko Saa'kokoto, nimhtu tu kena, nimhtu tsitapi mutuspitex. And thank you for greeting me in Blackfoot. Oki means hello. Nitaniko, my name is Saa'kokoto. Saa'kokoto is my Blackfoot name, and I'm proud of the name that I have. And that was given to me by my father. That was my great-grandfather's name. And probably now the lake has melted, but when it's cold, when you see the ice and when it looks like glass, very smooth, that's Saa'kokoto. And along with the name come responsibilities that I have to fulfill to honor my great-grandfather. And that's just part of our way of life when it comes to names. Names are very important, even where we are, and I will go into detail further. I'm from Kainai. Kainai, we're the largest First Nation in Canada. We're located south, very close to the U.S.-Canada border. I come from Mutuspitex, the All Tall People clan. Now, introductions are very important. Introductions is a way as to how we begin developing a relationship, to establish that trust and that respect within that circle. And so in my introductions, you'll learn 4 things about me. The language that I speak, which is Blackfoot. My Blackfoot name, Saa'kokoto. The nation that I come from, Kainai. And also the clan or the family that I come from, the All Tall People clan. So now that I've introduced myself in Blackfoot, I'd like to have all of you introduce yourselves to me in Blackfoot. Okay, I will help you. And I will begin to my left, and you will say, Oki Nitaniko, and tell me your name. I really appreciate that you all spoke Blackfoot very well. Maybe some of you might even speak it better than me. But just hearing all of you introduce yourselves, now you're beginning to learn the language that comes from this land. And it's so important because language is a big part of our life, our everyday life. And there are many languages sometimes within the circle. And that is good because it's always good to bring in other languages and to learn from one another. Now, our way of life is we like to share as much as we can, and to share the history, the stories, all of that comes from the land. Do you remember what we call Mother Earth? Na'a. Saa'kokoto piaki na'a. And by acknowledging Mother Earth in that way, it shows that we have a lot of respect for Na'a, because we have a great deal of respect for mothers. And that's so important because a lot of our stories, our ways of learning begins with Na'a. Even being here today, and I'm going to share a little more about Okotok. Now, Okotok is a very special spot. Some will pronounce it Okotoks, but the Blackfoot word means Okotok, the rock. And basically what it does, it symbolizes and also the history, the importance, and the sacredness of the spot that we're at. Now, ceremony is a big or very important part of our way of life, and where we always acknowledge who we call the Creator or the Sun. Do you remember what we call the Sun? Natusi. And making that connection with Natusi, the Creator, and also with Na'a, Mother Earth, we begin to realize how important it is to really appreciate the Sun Natusi and Na'a. Now, Na'a gives us all the things that we need for survival. And that's what's really important, because even right now where we're sitting, life is starting to come back. A few months ago, Na'a was covered with a blanket of snow. Na'a was just resting, getting ready for once the snow is gone. Natusi will make it warm, and everything will start coming to life. Colors will come back. Na'a provides beautiful colors for us. And I always say when we go out on the land, when we have trees, the grass, and the sky, this is where Na'a shares her art with us. And all the beautiful colors that come with this time of the year. Now every springtime, which is a quarter within our year, is a time of renewal. This is the time when we start preparing ourselves for the season that we're in. And then all the beautiful things that we're going to be experiencing. And also it tells us there's certain things that we need to do to start preparing for the summer. But Na'a is a time of when all of the animals begin to show themselves. Some that have been sleeping all winter, others that come back from the south. And it's a reminder from the animals, from the winged ones, that change is going to occur. And that's what's really beautiful about springtime. About a month ago, I had an experience with eagles and was right in the city of Calgary, where I was driving and I had to pull over up on a ridge and to start counting the eagles. I stopped counting at 50, and there were more that were so high they were just dots. But that's part of the year we call Piteki Sum. Pita is the Blackfoot word for eagle, and that's when the eagle returns. It returns to this part of the land. But what was really amazing was the eagles were flying with the hawks. And once they all came to one spot, and then they just went in different directions, going back home to wherever they're going to be living for the summer. And these are the reminders from nature, from the animals, from the birds and beings of the water, that we need to also prepare ourselves. Things that we need to do to get ready for the summer, where a lot of us are planning as to what we're going to be doing. A lot of traveling that's also going to occur. And sometimes we get to go to places that we've never been before. And that is good, to experience that, to experience other parts of the country, and to really appreciate what Na'a has to offer in that part of the world. Now, with my culture, Blackfoot was never a written language. It's an oral language. And just think, for thousands of years, where our practices, our ceremonies, our way of life, and even the language survived. But how it was passed down from one generation to another was a very important part of our way of life. And that's why stories are so important. Stories provide so much history and lessons that we need to know of the people that belong to this land. And that's been happening for a long time. As a young person, my grandparents, other elders, and also my parents shared a lot of stories with me. And what they were doing was preparing me for life. All of the good things that I needed to know, to be respectful and to honor others, was all done through storytelling. Storytelling was a way as to how we were actually able to preserve our way of life. And this is what we're sharing today. We're sharing it with the world. And to really have an appreciation of the land, the people that come from the land, the history, and especially the stories.